Thanks for tuning into the Texas Scratch King channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. This channel is for education purposes only, to help you modern-day dog men learn more on how to preserve the American Pit Bull Terrier. I hope you enjoy this interview over the bloodlines. Bloodlines. By Maraino Peinado. Bloodlines, as such, do not exist in the breed dog American Pit Bull Terrier APBT or Pit Bull, nor either in other animal species. When some fans to this breed dog talk about bloodlines, the correct thing to talk with propriety and zootechnical rigor would be that they spoke about the different genetic ramifications. No dog, no breeder or no kennels can determine bloodlines, because they do not exist. Which yes can determine different genetic ramifications. For example, the genetic ramification of the APBT called Bullison, or the APBT called Bolio, or the breeder called Pat Patrick, or the genetic ramification of Villa Liberty kennels, etc. Villa Liberties, Tudor Debo, Mr. Ronnie. Villa Liberties, Tudor Debo, Mr. Ronnie. Importation since Chicago. Bloodline or ramification genetic 100% from Carver through the wonderful combinations realized by Maurice Carver between Carver's hides. Satch x Carver's hides. Bloody Sunday equals Carver's Ironhead x Walling's Bullison best to best. So for a American Pit Bull Terrier, or a breeder, or a kennels, forms their respective genetic ramifications, evidently must be introduced in the breed and breeding during enough years, thus to consolidate its respective genetic ramifications, on the basis of the fixation of genotypes characters wished by the breeder. When some breeder selects in his breeding of the APBT on the basis of the fixation of phenotypes characters, this in our breed APBT is something terrible, since the breed in this way is degenerated and work in the breeding in this way is realized by two types of people. Those that do not know about the APBT and by the peddlers. Villa Liberties, Red Debo. Villa Liberty, Red Debo, importation since Chicago. Bloodline or ramification genetic 100% of Carver through the wonderful combinations realized between Carver's Davis Midnight Cowboy x Hands Candy equals best to best. When the fans talk about the Mexican bloodline, to put another example, it's something absurd in two ways. First, by the one of the line, and second, so that an American Pit Bull Terrier had Mexican genetic ramification. Evidently it would have to own in his ascendant genealogical tree some generations of APBT been born in Mexico, and by all means to have been born in Mexico the animal in question. The different genetic ramifications that we found in the APBT when we make reference to the country. So many exist as countries it has. And this type of ramifications is not accessible absolutely. Since to value more one or the other genetic ramification, everything it is going to depend on the positive results towards the breed that obtain in the works and sports like individuals APBT. Without considering the country where they have been born, because is not important and because all APBT are of the same breed dog. But we will consider their ancestors. The breeder or the kennel where were come. For whom want to continue with that genetic ramification that them like so much can do it without problems. Boudreaux, Bullison. Importation since Georgia, USA. Bloodline or ramification genetic 100% of Boudreaux, through the wonderful combinations realized between Boudreaux, SKULX Boudreaux, Scream equals coming from Carver dogs. Best to best. Villa Liberties, Patches. Villa Liberties, Patches, is the fusion result between Carver Blood x Red Pit, offering splendid results like reproducer and in the work, sports. Video, Patches. Old Family Red Nose, OFRN Ferguson Centipede, an excellent representative of the Old Family Red Nose, OFRN. Besides already commented, is possible to emphasize another genetic ramification that no line, that nothing has in commune with previously exposed. Neither breeders, nor parents or family of the APBT, nor kennels. I talk about the American Pit Bull Terrier denominated Old Family Red Nose, OFRN. Before nothing, I wanted to inform about the term, Old Family Red Nose. In the 19th century, existed in the counties of Kerry and Cork, Ireland, a family group of American Pit Bull Terrier somewhat peculiar, since they owned 5 typical characteristics of pigmentation that differentiated to them from the rest of APBT. Which were, 1. A mantle brown color in its different tonalities, admitting itself the white color. 2. The nose red, rosaceous or color meat. 3. The rosaceous lips. 4. Color white, brown or rosaceous for the nails. 5. The eyes amber color. Red Pit, de Villa Liberty is a red nose. 1. Red Pit comes from a fusion genetic of the best Carver dogs x Tudor, Mayfield dogs, etc., with a 75% Carver dogs in its blood. Red Pit was a great reproducer. Some, red pit, children, all them are red-nosed dogs, non-important characteristic in this breed dog. APBT with that 5 characteristics of pigmentation were very appreciated by some fans, since in the work they were those that better results had contributed to them. After to have used previously other type of dogs not APBT. By this, some breeders they concentrated in realizing a consanguineous breeding to continue reproducing this type of APBT. Because the APBT, red nose, that are those that reunites these 5 concrete characteristics of pigmentation. Own recessive genes. That means that if a red nose with another APBT no red nose reproduces, always predominated the genes of the APBT that is not red nose, and the descendants the majority would not be old family red nose, OFRN. Nevertheless, 2 APBT that are not red nose, they can leave red nose pups. Since this gene of the red nose is within the genes of this breed dog. The APBT. Those breeders of the 1850 were quite preservative and cautious in the results of their breeding, keeping the pedigrees from their APBT in secret, where nobody dared to put in doubt its trustworthiness, since the word and the honor of the breeder were impregnated in this pedigrees. In any case, in the present time continuous with enough height the old family red nose OFRN. And by tradition, between the fans continuous being called them OFRN or its abbreviation of red nose, something that I see correct. But is necessary to remember that the fundamental thing in the breeding of the APBT of any blood, genetics or strains, is to select by heart or character of the animal in positive way and never by its aesthetic or coloration. I believe that it is important to be honest and to inform agreed to the reality of the history of the breed and the OFRN and not deceive with false expectations to the fans. For to sell more and better APBT OFRN red nose. As I believe that is happening in some kennels. That inform to the novices that begin in the breed no agreed to the reality and yes in his own benefit. Villa Liberties, Red Creb, is a red nose, 1, which is a genetic fusion from Top Secret, X, Red Pit. In the pictures when it had only 1 year of age. Some swindlers and peddlers announcing false stories on the OFRN. Especially to the novices in the breed. Arguing that the OFRN or the APBT of better quality than exist. These swindlers disguise themselves as if they were true lovers of the breed, when in fact they are preaching, whose God is the money. Inventing false stories and realizing the strategies necessary to deceive just arrived at the breed and to benefit his own particular business. Profiting to their cost and cost of the own breed. Any more of these false stories are, for example, to affirm that the genetics of old family red nose OFRN was created in Ireland by year 1850. Or to say that later the OFRN practically were extinguished and later were rescued for their conservation by Bob Wallace or other breeders. Another false story is when some breeders proclaimed themselves in the present time the exclusive feature to own to pure old family red nose blood. Some fraudulent breeders invent their own registries to sell their own pedigrees. And by all means that are not officials, the only national and international officials pedigrees are the ADBA pedigrees, which do not have no type of trustworthiness, officiality nor credibility. Since those false registries were another particular business of many swindlers. The ADBA is the only institution internationally recognized like the canine mother of the American Pit Bull Terrier for the International APBT Federation FIAPBT. So that besides the activities in positive that realize for the APBT, also they offer to the fans a way very controlled, reliable and with much zootechnical rigor. The only international official pedigree from APBT. Nowadays, the OFRN by all means that continue existing outside those kennels and in the future also will be between us. While the own breed exists, the OFRN will exist within of the breed dog APBT, since its genes are component and part from the breed, is ridiculous to think the opposite. Proof of it is that 2 dogs that are not OFRN when reproducing both, they can leave APBT OFRN. This genetic blood or strain of APBT. The OFRN, by tradition was called them and at present also continuous called them the dogs of the old family red nose OFRN. Remembering that family of APBT OFRN around the 1850 of the counties of Kerry and Cork in Ireland. That in those years were denominated like the old family reds. This last one does not mean that the OFRN were originated with that group family of APBT OFRN in 1850. Nor that Leitner, nor McCoy, nor Bob Hemphill, nor Bob Wallace, nor so many others, are the creators of the OFRN blood because they were at his time interested in this blood and reproduced his dogs by the red color. Far from it. But it caused that the APBT with those 5 characteristics of pigmentation became more popular between the fans. It's simply as that. The original APBT. Since the origins of the breed dog APBT, the old family red nose OFRN already existed like genetic part of the breed. But the OFRN of those years was not denominated with this term to them. Term that according to Bob Hemphill it began to use at the beginning of 1900 by Dan McCoy. By this way, is not legitimate that nobody attributed itself nor will attribute to the blood of the old family red nose like his property own nor of somebody in particular, since this blood is only of an owner. And the owner is the own breed dog American Pit Bull Terrier and its fans. It is as if we wanted to give to a person or a kennel the creation of the breed APBT. That information was lost at night of the past times and is exactly just like it happens with the origins of the majority of the rest of old breeds. That are not known their creators either. At the most old is the breed dog. Like is the case of the APBT. Less are the possibilities of knowing who created it. I do not believe in the preachers who defend their own business deceiving, and yes, I believe in the fans who defend the dog breed American Pit Bull Terrier APBT or Pit Bull. Will be OFRN or any other blood or color in the Federation International APBT. We smell these preaching swindlers and peddlers from long distances. When to these preachers, the truth is said to them in front. Unmasking his false stories that used to profit at the cost of just arrived at the breed. Then they are made victims moving to the defensive. Saying that many fans to the APBT despise and discriminate against the OFRN. Also they say that is necessary to create independent clubs to defend and to promote to the OFRN. This last one responds to his desire to defend and to promote his own business around the OFRN. The reason to separate or to divide to the fans of the APBT on the part of these preachers is simple to understand. It treats simply to move away to all the fans who are possible of the ADBA and its official pedigree. Since each fan who moves away of the ADBA is a fan that gains his registry of pedigree and his particular business, offering to the deceived fans of the APBT his own registries, like the alternative to defend to the OFRN. This same one also happens with other lovers of the breed who invent registries of pedigrees of the APBT, and that argues false stories to the fans, similars to the OFRN, SDR. Those people who develop by their own decision registries of pedigrees of the breed dog APBT do not have any type of trustworthiness nor officiality nor credibility for the FIAPBT nor any other APBT institution. That shows to a minimum of seriousness and professionalism. A good and true lover of the breed dog APBT loves the breed in his original and pure state and defends it until the end, be it of any color, genetics, blood or strain. The other are only false stories to deceive the novices and instead of to unite to the liking. They wish to divide it. With these histories consequently to this is generated damage and weakness to the breed, and considering the bad times that runs for the breed with the unjust laws that want to extinguish it. Of course these preachers are not making none favor nor helping to defend the breed. To be dividing to the fans by different ways. The money is the money and is the justification more than sufficient for some preachers. Since for them the money is over everything and all. Of all is known that in the union is the force, not only defend to a breed, also to promote it and to inform suitably on it. In the Federation International APBT, we have had the misfortune to know many classes of preachers. This is not new for us. Retaking the subject to say that the OFRN were always a branch or strain genetic inside of the breed dog American Pit Bull Terrier. In the present time they continue being it, and in the future also they would continue being it. Despite clarify that like other bloods, genetic ramifications or strains of the APBT is not advisable to select to the APBT of bigger stature. Since what we would obtain or APBT bigger stature